Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I want to thank the organizers here and Steve for the wonderful job that you've done. And I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. Thanks for making the trek out through the snow. I like the microphone. It reminds me of my days doing stand-up comedy, you know, so. But always remember to tip your bartenders and waitresses on the way out. They're working hard for you. My name's John Loughlin, and I've had a pretty varied background. My background basically is, you know, I've always had two jobs, basically. Early on in life, when I was a teenager, I decided it was important to provide service. And I was very taken with the concept of the citizen soldier. So while I was still a student in college, I enlisted in the Rhode Island Air National Guard. I spent 4 years in the Air National Guard and then transferred over to the Army National Guard and ended up completing 26 years total service in the military and retired at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. During that same time, I've had a variety of civilian occupations, primarily producing media for a variety of outlets. I worked for WJAR briefly. I was at Channel 64 for a while. But the most challenging assignment civilian-wise is when I worked for the space program down in Washington, D.C. as a senior producer for NASA. And at NASA, I was able to produce over 400 hours of live mission shuttle coverage, and it was a very, very rewarding experience. In 2004, I retired from the United States Army Reserve, as I said, as the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, and I decided I wanted to continue to serve. So I put my name on the ballot and I ran for the Rhode Island General Assembly and was elected to represent District 71, which is all of Little Compton, the southern half of Tiverton, and part of Portsmouth. And I serve today in the Rhode Island General Assembly. Well, not today, but technically yesterday. But I'm still a member of the Rhode Island General Assembly. And so if you have any state issues, I know this is more of a federal issue thing, but if you have any state issues, I'd be happy to take those up with you offline and comment on those as well. My title in the General Assembly, I'm the House Minority Whip, which is second in command of the mighty Republican caucus. Now, you got to keep in mind, that's a little bit like being vice admiral of a canoe, you know. They say that the primary job of the whip is to count, and they figured, now that we're down to 6, Loughlin can handle the job, so we'll go ahead and elect him as whip. So it kind of brings us to where we are tonight. Why am I running for Congress? Why am I running for Congress in the 1st Congressional District? And, across our state, we see Rhode Islanders are drowning. We are literally drowning with one of the worst economies that we have seen literally in generations. Unemployment is through the roof in Rhode Island at 12.7% last count, nationally at 10.1%. The economy is driving everything we do. And in Washington right now, it seems like the answer is to borrow money that we don't have and can't pay back and spend money that our children are going to have to pay back and our grandchildren. And the situation is deepening and worsening, and it seems like Washington hasn't seen a spending program that they didn't love. I was very concerned when recently they passed this stimulus program. In the 1st Congressional District, the stimulus program yielded about $366 million for the 1st Congressional District to create jobs, ostensibly, right? It created 429.5 jobs, according to their official website. Now, if you do the math, that comes out to $855,000 per job. And I would submit that those figures are inflated, because if you look closely, there's one organization that got a $70,000 grant and claimed to have created 20 jobs. How do you create 20 jobs with a $70,000 grant? So I think the actual figure is probably closer to $1 million jobs, $1 million per job. That's your money, ladies and gentlemen. That's money that you worked for. You know how to spend that the best. You know how to drive this economy. We need to get the money back into the hands of the people who earn it and provide productivity from the ground up. And that's how you solve this economy. I will say, and again, I don't know what format to follow here, but I will say that the campaign, just to give you some of the tactical stuff, is going pretty well. In order to win a campaign like this, you need to raise money, and you need to do it in a serious way, and unfortunately, that's the reality of where we are. I'll give you a little bit of news that's going to come out here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to finish the quarter at about $225,000, which is more than any competitor to Patrick Kennedy has ever raised at this phase in the election. We have a national team on board. We're doing the things that we need to do. We've just hired a national fundraising director, and she's got us going crazy. I was endorsed by this organization called Combat Vets for Congress. And it's a terrific organization. When they first approached me, I turned them down because I said, look, I served in Bosnia. I was mobilized in 1995 and sent to Bosnia, and I actually had a good time in Bosnia, and I guess that bell means I have to stop. So I'm a little embarrassed to serve with these combat vets. They're just absolutely fabulous people, and they're doing great things for us.